Let's see. Can everyone hear me? Are we all back up? Yep, looks like. Okay, switched over to my phone for a Wi-Fi hotspot because my internet is in the toilet again. It's been happening a lot over the last week or so, which is frustrating. Right, where were we? We were checking out the pH stuff, weren't we? Ah, yeah, here we are. Target pH values per soil type. Loamy sand 6, 6.5, 6.75, and silty clay 7. Okay, so it's not a fault. It's showing the actual default ranges for these different types of soil. So this soil here, that's its current value. That's its target at 6. Okay. Right, that's good to know. Thought something was going horribly wrong. So we want to reactivate automatic. Spreader off and running again. That's 7 arriving. Or was that 6.75 for the loam? Yeah, that's the loam. So yeah, we should be good. It should all be this sort of darker green colour. This loam here, and then it should go a bit lighter here for the sandy loam. The silty clay, I have no idea. What do we need for silty clay? 7 for silty clay. So this must be 6.75 then. Let's see who's back in the chat. We've got John, Mr. Water, Marcel, GP. How you guys doing? So we should see it change about here. Go to a different colour. Yeah, you can just see because of this thin strip down here. Yeah, that's good to see. We are getting that change. Although it should have come down here as well. For some reason it didn't. And there's the change in value there. And again, once we get to this loamy sand, it's thinning the rate out to 6 for this piece here. Okay, so it's working as intended. You can see that very definite change as it hits the target value for each of those pH values. That's good. Got a strip that we've missed. Run up and down the field. stream might be a bit choppier because we're on my phone's Wi-Fi. As opposed to the home network. Apologies if that's the case. Not really anything I can do about that. Welcome back, Architect. It's looking choppy on my phone, on my laptop. How's it looking for you guys? Andy? GP says didn't know it was even possible to stream with 4G. This is how I used to do TSW Tuesdays. I used to have to do it with my phone connection because my internet kept crapping out on me when I was trying to do those streams, so I had to do them using my phone. But the connection was usually a bit more stable than it looks right now. There we go. Well, at least we're getting the application of lime done properly here. So you can see we've got that big chunk here of loam running through the centre of this field, and that's where we're going to have that darker pH value. There's 6.75, and then it should get a little bit darker still and go to 7 when we come down to the silty clay over here. And then we're going to be looking at what, 6.5 for the sandy loam, I think it is. Yeah, that looks to be 6.5 just there. And there. And then 6 just here. So while we're waiting for this to go, any questions? Anything you want to ask? Go ahead. I'll fill in the time answering as best I can. How come my interwebs are off? It just cut out. It's been playing up today apparently. They're in the kilobytes rather than the megabytes, which is never good. It always seems to get really temperamental this time of year. That's all looking quite nice. Let's take another look at the help page. Right, nitrogen's up next. This is going to be our fertilizing, isn't it? So ideally we would need slurry or manure to improve by a fixed value. Is it Virgin Media they play up sometimes? Yes, it is. How you doing, Off-Road Games and Matty Gamer Boy? Alright, so let's take a look at our nitrogen levels. They are looking pretty low. Not really sure what my target levels are going to be and whether they vary from crop to crop. But it does look as though we are going to need a slurry application on the field and then some liquid fertilizer or mineral fertilizer on top of that once we've planted. Just wondering, I don't think I have the slurry mod installed. Let's have a look. No, we don't, so let's just stop this for a second. We'll save. And let's install the slurry trader so we can actually go and get slurry. It does mean I'm going to have to get my hold of a slurry spreader as well. This could be slow. I'm trying to load up on my phone connection here. There we go. Right, where is slurry? Is it going to be under package? Tell you what, let's search for it. Slurry dealer pack. Is that the one I want? Store and sell. Oh, and you can import as well. Okay, so this is a mod that we definitely want to take a look at. See if there is another one as well. No, that was it, wasn't it? Yeah, okay. How you doing, Tiny? Let's take a look at Slurry Tanks as well. there's quite a few to choose from. Let's see. I want one with a decent size. But we're going to be buying anyway. You know, buying direct. Well, we might buy direct. We might just top up as we go. I do like this. I've always been a fan of this particular slurry spreader. Let's install that one. How you doing, Lulu Lemonade? Alright, just check those have installed. Yep, there we go. Right. The Joskin and Slurry. There we go. Now I need to decide where I'm going to place the Slurry Trader. So we'll take a look at the map, see if we can figure out a good spot. Will I be purchasing Slurry? To start with, yes, but what I might possibly do is once I've bought my first load is then just buy direct. We'll see how quickly it runs out, how many trips I'm going to have to make. I don't know yet. We'll see. Put it close by the house. Well, no, because this isn't going to be our slurry. We're going to be buying from a retailer, so it's going to go near one of the sell points probably, or maybe one of the other farmsteads. Might put it near the cows because we don't own the cows, so that could be a natural point for us to go and purchase it from. Architect says manure and slurry have a great deal of value when coupled with precision farming. Yeah, it looks as though they've addressed one of those things that a lot of people just didn't tend to use it. So that's kind of good that they've addressed that. Let's get our worker restarted. There we go. Miscellaneous. Where is Slurry? Slurry import. Right. Where are we? Where are we on the map? There we go. So that's our sheep farm. Cow farm is Where is the cow farm? Here it is. I don't own the land. Oh, that's going to be a problem. Okay, well, we do own... we do own this business here. Gas tanks. Let's place it over here in this corner. There we go. And are we out of line? Yes, we're out of line. So we'll head back, top this up, put it back to work again. We are going to need to take some money out because of this mod. So I am going to mod in an extra couple of £100 because I've already, as I say, gone over £1 million. And I don't want to be any more in debt than that. And we spent all that money fertilizing and liming our fields only for us to have to do it all over again now that we've added in this precision farming. So not ideal, but not the end of the world. Just wish the connection was better quality today. There we go. Right, so miscellaneous. Let's place a subsidy down on our farm. And speed up time. And this will cover the cost of the equipment as well. There we go. So let's get rid of that subsidy now. There we go. Oops. Slurry Spreaders. There we go. Oh wait, there's one of these in the base game already. Well, what the hell did I just mod in then? Looks to be the same bit of equipment, just fractionally cheaper. Capacity 15785, 15780. Okay. What's the slot count on this? 16. 9. Yeah, we'll take the smaller slot count. Choices. Nokians or Trelleborg? We'll go with Trelleborg. One of my thoughts on precision farming. It's too early to say, really. I mean, this is my first dabble with precision farming, so I haven't really done that much with it other than what you've seen today, taking some samples, sending them off, and now putting some lime down on my field. I like the concept. I don't know how well it's been executed. I need to spend more time with it. GP reminds me of that bit in Brass Eye. It's not ideal, but they'll have to go along with it. Oh, that was a show. That was a great show, Brass Eye. Absolutely loved that. Think. We'll turn that on. There we go. Tiny's used it on Bucks County. Seems to be spot on. That's good to see. But as I was saying earlier, before I got distracted, it's good to see that they've addressed silage, slurry and manure. Because I mean, people used to use slurry, you know, a decent amount, but manure never really got used. It just kind of just piled up and just sat there. Yes, I have got one of those GPS stations at the farm. Just there. And we're going to go and grab this. And let's reset this to the other farm. So we can collect it from there. Off-road gamers used it on Lone Oak. How you doing, Adam? Good to see you. those of you that have been using precision farming, did you start using it at the beginning of a year in seasons, or have you applied it midway through like I have? Tiny says beginning of the year. Adam says midway through late autumn after harvesting everything. Yeah, I did mine after I'd already planted and fertilised and limed most of my fields. I just had one field left. So I might have a really good crop for soybeans, and everything else might come out being completely rubbish. And of course, there's nothing I can do, even if I were to sample my other fields, which I'm not 100% certain I can do with the crop growing on them already. Even if I were to do that, I'm not sure whether or not. Right, I know for a fact with a crop already planted, I'm not going to be able to lime them or slurry them. The only thing I'll be able to do is fertilise them. Alright, well, thanks for stopping in off-road. Thanks for the sub, and good luck on your farm. Adam says, feel like I did an additional lime application after starting precision on several fields. I don't know if that defaults any previous applications. I think it does. Like I said, I had 2 stages of fertiliser and no lime required on the field that we're working on at the moment. And well, you can see we're having to reline the field, and on top of that the fertiliser looks to be non-existent, or practically non-existent on the field in terms of the nitrogen levels. So looks like we're going to have to completely fertilise this from scratch. Right, where's the Magnum? There it is. So when this gets to the top, I'll tidy up the border along the top and do that strip there that we missed, and then do the bottom border on this section that we've already done, and then I can get the slurry off and running while we're still liming the rest of the field. Let's take a look at our precision map. Yeah, we can see those very distinct definitions of colour, and we're almost reaching the silty clay as well, so we should start to see a slightly darker patch of green coming in around here. Just a hint of it just here on the very edge. You probably can't make that out, but you will see it on the next pass down. Stomach growling at me there. I'm just looking, you can actually see the application rate changing. It's at 4.38 at the moment. Now it's back down to 3.5, now 2.63. So it is dynamically changing the amount of lime that we are putting down. That's really nice to see. I like that. Right, top bit's ready. We've got this strip down here to do, then the bottom bit, and then we can get the worker up and running again, and we can start applying slurry to the field. Soy seems to be a really strong crop with precision. Well, I'm hoping so. That's the crop that's going to make me money this year. Apparently I don't need any. Yeah, it's not letting me actually apply. I'm supposed to be applying, but nothing's coming out. That's quite cool, because I'm going over an area that's already been done. It's not using any at the moment, so it should start to... There we go, look at that, that's really clever. Oh, I like that. Alright, let's get the worker started down here. Alright, so back to the Steiger. That would help if I turned it on, wouldn't it? Is it on? Oh, it's got smart application on this as well. It won't relay it over an area that's already been slurried. Again, loving that feature. No, it's not turned on. Whoops. Oh, it's been so long since I've used the Slurry Spreader. Oh, I just wish this didn't look like it was being filmed on a potato. Let me see if I can actually improve it slightly. Broadcast settings. Don't think I can do it while it's actually up and running. No, I can't. I was hoping I could downgrade the visuals, but I can't. I'd have to stop and restart the stream for that. First need to unfold it. It's already unfolded. There we go. Let's see. Does the application amount adjust automatically with both AI and user? I don't know. Let's turn this around. We'll hire a worker on it, and then we'll try and manually do it with the line spreading. I don't know if it's going to make a change with... I don't think it's going to make a change with our slurry application. I think we're just going to be putting down a uniform because the nitrogen level is so low on this field. But we should be able to tell with the liming. Oh, we are putting down a variable rate here on the slurry. Application rate is 9 at the moment, now 14. Now it's stopped. Okay, let's manually do that line. Right, let's switch over to this guy. And let's check. Application rate 6.13 at the moment. Still 6.13. Now it's 5.26, and I'm still manually controlling this. Now 4.38. Now 3.5. So yeah, it does vary the rate even when you're doing it manually. It's a setting that you choose whether to have it, you know, automatically vary the rate or not. And I guess that applies to whoever's pulling it, you or the worker. That's good to see. I like that. So let's take a look at our nitrogen level now. A big change here, look. Going green as we hit the loam. And we're at slurry already. Wow, okay. Yeah, we're going to be buying slurry. With the worker. Otherwise it's going to take us forever. But what I'll do is I'll probably go and put a full tank in so I can manually do bits where I need to. And that's interesting because it's telling me I need to fill the tool and we're buying direct. It's not telling me the variable rate. It's not showing that on the screen because there's no slurry in the tank. That's interesting. Alright, we'll go and refill this as soon as we've finished this path down here to the trees. Now, will it actually complete this line? Or will it stop a bit short? It's going to stop a bit short, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So that's something we'll have to manually finish off when we put some more slurry in the tank. It's curious as well that we've got this green underlay underneath the field now that we've applied slurry to it. go back in cab. It won't look quite so rough, I hope. Let's try that again. There we go. Yeah, the second we started putting slurry in the tank, we got that nitrogen slurry application meter come back again. So, something else we're learning is that there needs to be something physically in the tank to get that display. How you doing, Bill? Oh, I do love this little Steiger. I'm so glad that they fixed it. The stream suddenly got less blocky. It's only because I'm in first person. The second I go back to third person, it'll start looking awful again. There we go. Right. Let's get our worker lined up then. There we go. And we'll go back to the Magnum. How are we getting on? Let's have a look. So you can see the difference on our nitrogen levels. Again, I'm guessing there's a target fertilization level for different soil types. I wonder if we'll have to put fertilizer. Well, I'm guessing we're going to have to put fertilizer over the top of the crops once they're planted as well. You never know, maybe we won't have to. And there's our pH levels looking quite nice now. Here's that clay, that silty clay that we've got. We won't know the yield bonus though until we've actually got something planted on there. And we've got something planted on these, but we've got no No samples taken on those fields, so we've got no information to work from, I'm guessing. Or maybe we won't even see that until it's ready to harvest. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work. One of the many other mysteries we still have to decode. You can see those dark spots where we're outside of sample range, so we won't get any information for those little spots. Let's ride with our Magnum for a bit. Oh, in fact, actually, I missed it. I was going to show you it, this thing turning around looking so smooth as it turns, but we missed it. I'm really pleased that we have a dynamic mini-map now as well. That's something I think that Giants should have had for a long time. It should have been in 17. Some form of dynamic mini-map. So the big question is going to be, what's the next big innovation for Farming Sim? This is obviously going to be part of the base game for the next iteration, whether that's 21 or 22 or whatever they decide to call it. Maybe even 23. So what else can they do to improve the realism aspect of the game? And Seasons has got to be part of the base game next time around. If it's not, I won't be buying it until Seasons is released. Beautiful, an AI worker in this Steiger that actually works. I suppose for me the next big innovation would be dynamic ground. Some form of deformable terrain, or at least a 3D terrain. Or even if we don't get proper deformable ground, at least 3D crop textures for, you know, soil textures, rather than the crappy 2D ones that the Giants use. They're going to have a lot more horsepower to play about with next time round as well. I'm genuinely curious as to whether or not they'll ditch the current platforms, you know, let's say current, what's now technically old gen platforms with the next game, and whether they just go straight to PS5 and Series X and Series S. I'm guessing if they are going to do versions on the current, you know, the current PS4 and Xbox One systems for the next game, they're going to have to be severely limited in comparison to the other versions. Because 15 was multi-platform, but 17, didn't they, or was 17 multi-platform as well? Was 17 available on the PS3? I honestly can't remember. I know 19 obviously wasn't. Ah, it's Farmer Min. How you doing, my friend? How am I liking precision farming? This is my first run with it, and so far I'm liking the concept. It seems good. It's just a shame that I was already most of the way done with all my planting and fertilising when I applied it, because it looks as though it's cancelled out all the work that I'd done. Does anybody own a Switch with a copy of Farming Simulator? How limited is Farming Sim 19 on the Switch compared to the consoles, the main consoles? I mean, because we know it's already, you know, limited compared to the PC, but how limited is the Switch version? Does anybody know? Because that might be the closest example would be the PS5 and Series X would be the standard console version, and then the PS4 and Xbox One would be almost like a Switch version, I suppose, with the next one. How you doing, Raymond? And Sean as well. Good to see you, Sean. almost looks like a heat map, really, doesn't it? Predator vision on this field. Just need to find out that Arnie is rolling around in the slurry and hiding in these trees. Am I playing 6 or 9 day seasons? I'm playing 6 in real time while I get back into the swing of things and try out precision. Next season or next year I'm planning on bumping up to 9 days and changing to ×5. Anyone ever see that Mitchell and Webb sketch about farmers? I just put it in the ground and money comes out. Yes, I love Mitchell and Webb. I was a huge fan of the horse sketches as well, especially when he sings Happy Birthday to Horse. Or tries to teach him French. Je m'appelle Horse. Je m'appelle Horse. Je. He just starts getting angrier and angrier. I love that sketch. Peg never gives me any of this bollocks. Gee, where is our slurry spreader? Is he getting close to the transition? Not yet. What do you call a cow with no legs? A burger? Steak? I'm going to regret this. I should know the answer to this joke. Ground beef, yeah, there we go. I have heard that before, I just couldn't remember it. Our automatic liming. Start using what we've got left in the tank. Has anyone tried the TLX 9000 truck yet? I've got the International Transstar, I've installed that. I haven't tried the TLX. Guts are making noises again. Check on the animals. Yeah, it's starting to use up water a bit quicker. Still got a couple of bales waiting there in the food trough, so I don't have to worry about topping them up. Alright, one downward pass and the bottom border to go, and then we've finished liming the field. I guess we may as well start taking samples on the stuff we've already planted as well. So we can at least see if we need to apply fertiliser. We can do nothing about lime or slurry, but we can at least fertilise the crops and improve the yield on those, which we thought was already going to be perfect because the fields were already limed and fully fertilised, but that's not going to be the case anymore. Apparently there was a ridiculous amount of mods released on the mod hub again this week. I still need to get in the habit of actually checking the mod hub on a regular basis again. I'm not going to have enough lime left. Turn that back on again. Oh, I should do actually. We're almost there. It's going to be close. It'll be very close. Patkins says it'll be interesting to see what additional parameters get added to the precision farming DLC. Maybe phosphorus, potassium, and maybe how much organic matter is in your soils. Maybe. I think they need to resist the temptation to tinker with it too much. Yeah, doesn't need any there. Look, I do like the way it actually cuts off application of stuff now when it's not needed. That's really good. Alright, let's take this back to the farm. Give the spreader a clean, empty out the last bit of line that's left in there. Seeing as precision farming focuses on GPS, maybe Giants will implement GPS into the base game. They should do. Whether they will or not is another matter, but they should do. Their argument will be, well, you know, it's already there in the form of a worker if they don't want to do it. Right. Excellent. Where is that one? There we go. Start sampling our planted fields. I'm not going to bother with grass or alfalfa, they can just stay as they are, but the canola and the wheat will definitely sample those fields. Do those augers work? No, they don't, they're just props. It's like the big silo tanks at my farm, they're props as well, they don't work either. The only one that does work is the big orange framed one. These big cylindrical tanks, they're just decoration. Now will this show me on fields that are planted? It's not showing me the radius. Does that mean I can't really sample this? So I had just dropped. There we go. Yeah, it's not taking a sample because it's already planted, look. Okay, that's frustrating, but to be expected. Let's try the canola field that's got no growth on it yet. It's been planted but no growth. Can I sample this field? And again the answer is no, because... Oh no, wait, I can. Ah! It just won't actually show... Oh, this is going to be frustrating. It won't show it on the mini-map. I'm going to have to do this really painstakingly, tediously. Looks like I found a bug. Well, maybe not. You know, I mean, you are supposed to do this before you plant, as far as I know, so maybe it's not a bug. Maybe it's operating as intended. Am I planning to try Subnautica Below Zero? When it comes out, absolutely. I loved Subnautica. At some point I'm going to play that game again. Probably right before the DLC comes out. Don't you just send sample off for whole field info? No, you send sample off. The sample you send off only shows, you know, whatever you've actually sampled. So these bits here, I would get info for those, but not the rest of the fields. You know, we had to sample this entire field to get this info here, and you can see these little spots here where we didn't get info. It's because we didn't actually get a sample covering those bits. Maybe a new City Skylines, maybe next year. So there's still one trophy I need for the Platinum Trophy, which is the hardest one to get. The 95% happiness over 5 years. So I need to build a custom city specifically for that trophy, and I might stream my efforts on that. But I played a lot of Skylines, and I'm kind of played out on that for now. Looks like I'll need a loan to pay for the soil analysis. Well, I'm going to have to take out more money because I'm not going to be able to pay for the slurry otherwise. There we go. Analysis will probably cost me about £5 a field, at a guess. Given that the other field cost us about 10, 11 grand. There we go, getting a nice good even application of sampling on this field so far. Big yawn, sorry about that. There we go. This is where it gets tricky. Trying to figure out how far across I need to be. Oh, might be a bit too much. There we go. And forward a touch. Okay, to load up on a save game, don't want to mess up 300 plus hours. I mean, yeah, it'll work fine on any file, but I would recommend that you wait until after harvesting before you start your next round of planting. Because it will ignore what you've done in terms of lime and fertilizer to reconfigure. Mr. Water says, I thought you were meant to use the John Deere Gator. No, it's anything with a 3-point attacher. The modded John Deere Gator that comes with the Precision DLC is basically just a John Deere Gator with a 3-point attacher at the back. And they're using that because John Deere sponsored this DLC. That's why it's John Deere GPS on the sheds. Because they worked in partnership with John Deere for the precision data. But any vehicle with a 3-point attacher will be fine, because that's what this sampler uses, is a 3-point. And if you do want to use the John Deere Gator, it has to be the modded one. Because the basic, the DLC one, I'll show you. It's going to be the cars, isn't it? So this one here, you can't use that one. That's the pre-order one. That doesn't have a 3-point harness, whereas this one, the mod, does, or has the option of a 3-point. So that's how you can use it. And then obviously you can just have it standard if you want it, but you need the 3-point if you want to use the Gator with the sampler. I'm really hoping that I can get a 3-point on these. At some point. I just think it would be kind of cool to use one of these. Not so realistic, but fun. Shouldn't that red sampling be on the live map? It is on a field that you haven't already planted on. The reason that it's not displaying, I think, is because I've already got a crop planted here. And you're supposed to do all this before you plant. At least that's my understanding anyway. I just wanted to see the fertilizer info so I can see whether or not I'm going to need to apply fertilizer. I probably won't bother with the wheat actually, I'll probably just do it on this canola field. Canola's a higher value crop. So I want to make sure I get my money's worth out of this one. Not so fussed with wheat. I also want to see whether or not the fact that this field didn't need lime earlier and was stage 3 fertiliser, I want to see what effect that has on the values that it produces. Yes, I've seen that black sheep gator and it does look good. If that has a 3-point attacher, I think a lot of people will end up probably using that rather than the one provided by Giants. Surprised there isn't a pot farm mod yet. Oh, there is on PC. There's a few, I'm sure. That won't. I doubt they'll ever make it to the Giants mod hub though. It might be legal in most states in America, but it's very much not legal in a lot of countries around the world. stick it over a bit more. Right, let's try there. Yeah, that's perfect. There we go. Shouldn't have to take this long. Well, it's taking longer because I can't use the minimap. Normally I would get a display on the minimap showing me where I'd already done. I wouldn't have to keep checking the main map. But as GP stated, because I've already got crops planted, it's not showing on the minimap. You don't have to use the gator, Vernon. Anything with the 3-point works. We've already done one field, as you can see, and we used the same tractor. It's because I've got something planted that it's not showing on the mini-map. It worked just fine on the other field. Because there's nothing planted on that. Resample on that field again by the look of it. I hope that doesn't undo what we've already done. That's going to be a major glitch if that's the case, I think. Alright, have fun, pothead. Where do I need to be? Oops, over here. Can I get close? I think I can do it. There we go. Too far. Too far again. Brandon says restarting might fix what I'm having an issue with. Is sampling fully grown crop? Yeah, there doesn't look to be a toggle. We're almost done with this anyway, so I may as well carry on. Got into kind of a rhythm of doing it like this now. Although, it would be nice to actually see it on the minimap. Yeah, let's do it. Let's restart. So let's save, quit, and reload. Don't talk to me about a backlog, Architect. I've got way too many games sitting on my hard drive that I haven't even looked at yet. About 10 months ago I picked up the all 4 of the Kingdom Hearts games and I haven't loaded any one of them yet. I've got games from years ago that I still haven't played. I've got over 3 terabytes of games on my external hard drive, and I would say at least a terabyte of them haven't even been touched. At least, maybe half, 1.5 terabytes, maybe even 2 terabytes. I don't think it's 2, but 1.5 I would say. And I've still got all those VR games that I picked up with my headset. I've only played a few of them. I've still got quite a few of those still to play yet as well. Right, there's the worker. Been considering Fallout 4 as well. Love that game. Yeah, I platinumed that on my old account. I've still got the disc, and at some point I intend to play that again and platinum it again on my new profile, but I haven't got round to it. I had that game platinumed inside of 2 weeks when it was launched. That was one of the few games I bought at launch and just played it non-stop and had the platinum in 2 weeks. But haven't played it since Nuka World came out. Have I played Outer Worlds? I bought Outer Worlds and I played a little bit of it and then got distracted by something else and haven't played it since. That's another game that's sitting on my hard drive going, why won't you notice me? I'd love a PS5. I'd be happy with one now for the improvement in performance that I'd get, as well as, you know, a graphical up-res on some games as well. But yeah, it's gonna have to wait till next year. Just don't have the money for it. I've got just under £100 put aside for it. I need another 350. Have I unfolded the tool? Yeah, you can't use it if you don't unfold it. Been hearing lots of people having glitches with PS5. You've got to expect that when a brand new system comes out. Let's not forget that when Microsoft released the Xbox 360, for the first 2 years, it had an over 50% failure rate. Cost them millions in replacing broken consoles. They had a red ring of death. Didn't stop people buying it. Didn't stop people really loving it, but over 50% of the consoles bought new in the first 2 years failed. Early adopters always take that risk. They always bring out a slightly better version a few months down the line. Not always true. PS3 was the exact opposite. PS3 launched, it was horrendously expensive, but when it launched, the original model had 4 USB slots, memory card readers, backwards compatibility in terms of the emotion chip, and a few months later the second version came out and it had no card reader, had 2 USB ports and had an emulator, and then a couple of months later even the emulator was gone instead of the emotion chip, and all backwards compatibility was lost because it was just so horrendously expensive for them to manufacture with all those extras in there. They just stripped them out, and it still took Sony about 2 years just to break even on the PS3. It's not until you see the slim models that you start to see big improvements in power consumption and quieter machines. I don't think there'll necessarily be a slim version of the PS5 though, or at least not for at least a good couple of years. I think we're probably talking 3 years till we see, you know, a slim version. Right, can I get all this in one pass? Should be able to, might leave a few dots. I don't know anyone who's actually got one yet, not personally, so I've not had the chance to speak to anyone who owns one, get their impressions, but I do know that there are technically two versions currently out. There's the review model that was sent out that has a 21 blade fan, and then there's the standard model that's being sold at retail, which has a 17 blade fan, and that's the one that's a little bit noisier, the one that people are saying has coil whine. It's because it has a fan with a slightly less cooling capability, so it has to spin a bit louder to have the same effect. Have I ever played Apex Legends? No, never played it. Never grabbed my attention. It was a horrible buggy mess at launch from what I heard. I'm assuming it's been improved substantially, but yeah, no plans to play that. Or am I thinking of Anthem? I think I'm thinking of Anthem. But either way, yeah, no plans to play either game. There we go, field's done. Let's send off those samples. So we won't bother with the wheat field, we'll just leave it with these two, I think. I'm going to figure out where I'm going to store this thing now as well. I suppose I should have it somewhere on the main farm, but I don't really have much space left down there. Whereas there's plenty of space at the sheep farm, but I don't know if I want to store it over there. I suppose I could put it at the sheep farm with this tractor. See how our slurry's getting on as well. And then we're on what, day 4? Day 5 we'll plant. Are we on day 4? Yeah, we're on day 4. Day 5 we'll plant our soybeans. We're just not quite warm enough yet. A couple of degrees short. There we go. Leave that there for now. Where is the Steiger? There it is. Yeah, not too much left to do on this field now. That's kind of good to see. It looks very different, doesn't it? I am curious, like I say, as to whether or not we're going to need to put fertiliser in the ground once we've put seed on this field as well. Whether we'll have to break out the mineral fertiliser. Arctic says, I have the original PS4, sounds like a tractor compared to my Pro when running Cold War, but still running strong. Yeah, I had a baseline PS4, and then about a year and a half later I replaced it with a Pro, and I kept the PS4 for the next year or two, but I actually got rid of it about a year ago. Sold it to someone for just over 100 quid. It was just sitting there as a backup in case something happened to my Pro, but I decided to cash in on it. I'll keep hold of my Pro when I get when I get myself a PS5. I won't get rid of that. Right. Let's see, have our sample results back yet? Nope, not yet. Okay, let's speed time up a bit. There we go. Got our sample results. So, moment of truth time. pH values aren't too bad. It's too late to do anything about it, but they're not too bad. Yeah, the nitrogen levels are really bad. That's got stage 3, that had stage 3 fertilizer on it and was in no need of lime. And you can see what, you know, basically in adding precision farming on top of something that had already been done has basically just rendered that null and void. You know, the seed stayed there, but the fertilizers might not, you know, might as well have not been applied. So we'll have to respray or refertilize that field. And the lime, well, the lime's not too bad. It could be worse. I mean, you can see here, this silty clay is fluctuating. We've got what, 6.6.5 just here, 6.25 here, 6 just here. That should all be looking at 7, which is this. It's not quite there. What's this yellow strip here? That's loamy sand. That's only slightly below, well, it's quite below here, 5.25, that's not so good. And then 5.5 here, that should be 6. So it's a little bit below. It's not horrific. But yeah, our pH levels are a little bit too acidic. You know, we could do with some lime to. Actually, nothing's grown. I could probably get away with putting some lime down. Let's try it. I know you can't put lime on grown crops, but if it's still in the seeding phase, which it is, we might be able to get away with it. Let's load up that little bit that we had left over. As a test. We can always come back and put in a full load if this works. And if it doesn't, well, we're just using up a little bit of leftover stock. Thought nitrogen was good for plants. Yeah, it is. Nitrogen is the fertilizer. Games like Fortnite and Apex aren't his cup of tea, says Mr. Watter. Yeah, I mean, I used to play competitive first-person shooters like that, but I just get too wound up now. I just don't play them anymore. Save myself the aggro. Ah, it's working. Okay, so we're lucky that we don't have any growth on this field yet. We can actually get away with liming this field. Beautiful. There's a water sound effect over here. You can hear it sploshing. I don't know what's causing it. There's no water anywhere around this area. Yeah, this whole block here, this whole darker silty clay, that's all going to end up at this 7 pH value. So we'll have a nice dark green block all the way there, and then this block here, this loam, that'll be 6.5, 6.75, this colour. The sandy loam, that'll be this colour, that'll be 6.25. Or is that 6.5? That might be 6.5 actually. Yeah, that's 6.5. And then the loamy sand that we have, that'll be at 6, which will be this colour here. I think your boobs are lovely, GP. Right, so back to our fertilising over here. Not too much left to do. Still got to do the borders at the top and bottom of the field. I suppose we could even put slurry on that field as well once we've done the lime. We might be able to get around it. I'm going to run out of money again. That's pretty much a given. But we can see from this, and that little bit of sample there, and that little bit of sample there, this this clay is going to sort of swoop down through here and possibly into this part as well. The way this swoops around here makes me think that these are going to be clay completely. And this will kind of swoop around and then back up and link up with that. I mean, I may be wrong. That may swoop down here like that, and may swoop down here like that. You never know. We won't know till next year. Have I played Cyberpunk since the 1.04 patch? No, but I will be playing it tomorrow. So we'll see how much of an improvement that's made. Biggest problems have been stuff just not loading in properly or not loading in at all. Invisible walls, invisible guns, low textures on stuff, not not popping in the high resolution stuff when it should do. And I've had 3 blue screen crashes while I've been playing. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, hopefully some of those issues will be fixed, or at least improved. I don't think it's going to fix everything overnight. I think it's going to take at least a few months before that game's running as it should. But the advantage of being on a Pro as opposed to a baseline PS4 is that it runs a hell of a lot better than a standard PS4, which really did look to be terrible from everything I've seen. The Pro runs at a higher resolution and a higher frame rate, so a nicer experience. It could be like Skyrim or Fallout 4 and Bugs are part of the charm. No. CD Projekt Red aren't Bethesda. CD Projekt Red are actually pretty good at fixing stuff. I mean, The Witcher was a bit of a hot mess when that first came out, but The Witcher 3, but they patched that really quickly and repeatedly, and that ended up being a very, very good game indeed. And I have no doubt that they'll do the same with Cyberpunk, but it's just going to take some time to get it where it needs to be. How much of an improvement there'll be on the base consoles, though, I don't know. Because the game does seem very CPU heavy. And the original Xbox One and PS4 are limited by their CPU cores. I mean, the systems are over 7 years old now, so they are being pushed to their absolute limits. But a bit of good optimization should certainly improve the experience. There's that water sound effect again. It's almost like there's a pond or something underneath the map. But there is no natural water on the map until you get all the way up here. That, or maybe the sound effect's just in the wrong place. What if there's no sound of water over here and it's all down here by mistake? Could be. I haven't actually been up here at all, so I have no idea. Alright, we'll go for about another half an hour and then we'll call it a day. We'll at least get the nitrogen finished on field 29 in that time and get this lined and make a start on slurry spreading on this field. and then I'll finish the rest of it off during the week. Xbox One can struggle with Kerbal Space Program. Yeah, again, that looks like a CPU heavy game rather than a graphically heavy game. That's another reason why I'm curious about playing Fallout 4 again, because when I played it the first time at launch, I played it on my original PS4. Now I've got a Pro. I'm curious to see if it runs better than it did. I mean, it ran well on the PS4. Didn't have any major problems with it. A few, frame lags every now and again, but generally I remember it playing pretty well. Just the frame rate dropping in a few places when it got a bit heavy. The Corvega plant was one particular place where it got quite heavy on the poor frame rates. But I'm hoping the Pro is going to be a much smoother experience. More graphical horsepower, better CPU. And the game has been out a lot longer and patched a lot since then. I mean, Fallout's 6 years, 6 years old now? Fallout 4? Has it really been that long? When was it? Was it 5 years or 6 years? 6 years. 5 years. Oh god, yeah, I forgot about the artillery strikes from the Minutemen when you take the castle. I remember that big fight scene against the Queen. That was fun. Slight sheen of the dial down the settings. I have to use my phone again next. Trying to run 1080p my phone. I'll set it at 720p standard if I have to use it again next Sunday. Or even tomorrow for that matter. And I try and do some more Cyberpunk. My voice is cutting in and out. Yeah, it's because the phone connection's struggling a bit at the moment. come on. Ah, caught on a tree. There we go. Right, just this one last pass, and then the top border, and this field is finally finished and ready for planting next time out. How is our Steiger getting on? Oh, he's done more than half the field already. Good stuff. Not Steiger, sorry, Magnum. This is the Steiger. Alright, we're getting close to the end of the stream now, so any questions? Now's your last chance to get them in before I disappear. I'm going to sign off once we finish this slurry. yeah, we'll be back every Sunday, keeping the series going. I'm struggling still to find the motivation to play it when I'm not streaming, but I'm enjoying playing it while I am streaming, so you guys are a big part of that. So thank you for stopping by each weekend, each Sunday. I will be doing some more Cyberpunk throughout the week, seeing how it holds up and trying to make some more progress. If it still ends up being a really buggy, horrible experience, I might just stop streaming Cyberpunk and wait till next year and start streaming sometime in January or maybe February once it's had a few more patches. We'll see how next week goes. But if that's the case, I do have the 2 Point Hospital still to do some stuff with, so I may possibly, based on how next week goes, I may switch over to 2 Point Hospital for the midweek stuff. It's on sale right now, Glenn. I think it's I think it's on the end of year sale. I picked it up for £17.50. I think it's half price. It's normally like 35 quid. So I think I paid like 17-18 quid for it. So if you are thinking of getting it, now's probably the best time to do it while it's half price. Everything I've seen in terms of the trailers and little bits of gameplay makes it sound hilarious fun to play, and I haven't seen any negative reviews of it, so I think, you know, for 17.5 quid it's a pretty safe gamble. Hit the stop sign in the tree trunk, I think. There we go. This field is done. We have finished it. So, an interesting introduction to precision farming. We've done some sampling, we've done some liming, we've done some slurrying. Next time out we'll be planting on this field, putting our soybean in, and then we'll be looking to see whether or not we need to put more fertilizer down as well. Actually, that's a point. I want to check. Do I have yield figures? No, I don't have yield figures. I'm guessing I'm going to have to wait till the crop is actually grown before we'll see yield figures for our crops, which kind of makes sense, I suppose. But yeah, a good start. Like I say, we've made some decent progress. We've experimented a bit with what we've got. I'm quite pleased with the progress we've made. I will finish off liming this field and slurrying it in my own time during the week. And then, as I say, when we come back next Sunday, we will be ready to, hopefully, to plant our soybeans. So, hi there, Donny, you've arrived just as we're finishing. So, yeah, thanks all for watching. I'll be back with some more Cyberpunk tomorrow, hopefully, assuming my internet's working properly again. And I'll see you all then.